Hey guys, and welcome. I thought maybe it'd be a good idea before we start our first Google Meet session to go through some of the guidelines and rules that I'd like you to follow during our first Google Meet session. So let's get started talking about the golden rule. So the golden rule for me is that we need to be entering each one of our sessions muted. That is absolutely essential. I remember back in the spring, I attended a Google Meet session with my son's first grade class, and we had some 28 students all in there at once talking with siblings crying in the background and TV screens going and so on and so forth. So in order to make sure that everybody is heard when it is their turn to talk and to limit that confusion and chaos, I am going to require that you enter each session muted. I also want to let you know that each one of our sessions will be recorded, and then those are going to be accessible by Mr. Moss and also possibly by parents. So if an issue comes up or a concern, whether that's yours or mine, those will be saved onto a Google Drive and then accessible again to Mr. Moss and possibly to parents as well. So the next thing I want you to know is how to ask those questions that you may have as we go along, and then also how to mute yourself and how to turn video off. So I have already a Google Meet session started. As I'm entering, again, the screen sort of looks like this. The first step we're going to do is to make sure we turn off our microphone, and then if you wanted to turn off your video feed, you could do that as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and join our meeting. Okay, so down here at the bottom, you will see that we have the ability to turn, again, the microphone on and off. And we also have the ability to turn the video feed on and off. So I'm not requiring for my class that you use the video feed. I'm highly recommending it just because I'd love to see your faces, but it's not a requirement. The mute button, again, is something that you will be unmuting only if it is your turn to talk, and you will be signaled to do that by me, Ms. Jones, as we are going through our Google Meet session. So up here in the corner is a function known as the chat function. So this is where you're going to go if I'm in the middle of talking and you have something perhaps that you want to say. So you could just type the word question in here. It's important to spell it right. I better do that as I am your teacher. Then I just push that button right there and it pops up and it lets me know that you have a question you would like to ask. Or perhaps you could write something like concern or something of that nature if there's something going on that you're worried about, or maybe you need a little bit more of an explanation. You are not going to be using this chat function to talk to other students within the class. This is directed only to me, and again, that is to limit confusion, and also because we are not going to be having side conversations with each other through chat. It's far too distracting for others. Okay, so again, this is our mute button on and off. This is how we turn our camera on and off, and up here in the corner is our chat function. This is how you're asking questions for now. All right, so your teachers met on Tuesday and came up with a list of Google Meet etiquette requirements that are going to be the same no matter what class you are in. So I want to remind you that you need to be muting yourself upon entry to class. Our chat expectation is that you should only be using that to direct questions to the teacher. Again, students may not use it to hold conversations with each other. If you have a question in my class, you're going to use the chat section and simply just type the word question in there. If you want to, you can also raise your hand, but if you're not getting any response from me, I may not have seen you, so therefore go ahead and type question. Do not unmute yourself until you've been called on by me, Ms. Jones, your teacher. You're strongly encouraged to have video on during Google Meet, but I'm not requiring it. And then I also want to make sure that you take care of all business before class, which includes food consumption, bathroom usage, and the gathering of class materials. I think that if we do all these things, we will have an excellent first Google Meet session.